Hi guys, Jimmy here and welcome back to MyArtLife. For today's episode, I'm going to color another popular anime during the 90s, and that will be Sarah the Little Princess. But if you're from a later generation, you may have seen memes about this anime mentioning peeling potatoes, being poor, aka slap soil, and being scolded by a scary old lady. But before all of those online memes, let me tell you about the long history where the story came from. A Little Princess is a children's novel by Frances Hodgson Burnett, first published as a book in 1905. It is an expanded version of the short story Sarah Crew, or What Happened at Miss Minchin's, which was serialized in St. Nicholas magazine from December of 1887 and published in book form in 1888. According to Burnett, after she composed the 1902 play named A Little Unfairy Princess, her publisher asked that she expand the story as a novel with the things and people that had been left out before. The novel was published with the full title of A Little Princess, being the whole story of Sarah Crew now being told for the first time. The story goes, Captain Richard Crew, a wealthy English widower, has been raising his only child, Sarah, in India, where he is stationed with the British Army. Because the Indian climate is considered too harsh for children, British families living there traditionally send their children to boarding school back home in England. The captain enrolls his 7-year-old daughter at Miss Minchin's boarding school for girls in London and dotes on his daughter so much that he orders and pays the headmistress for special treatment and exceptional luxuries for Sarah, such as a private room for her with a personal maid and a separate sitting room, along with Sarah's own private carriage and pony. Miss Minchin acts so kind and accommodating to Sarah, but only because of her money. The truth is, Miss Minchin is secretly bitter towards Sarah for her wealth. In spite of her wealth, Sarah is neither self-centered, rude, nor snobbish, but rather kind, compassionate, and generous. She extends her friendship to Ermengarde St. John, a not-so-bright student, and also to Charlotte, aka Lottie, a 4-year-old girl who would always have tantrums, and to Rebecca, or Becky, the lowly, stunted scullery maid. When Sarah acquires the title of princess, she embraces its favorable elements in her natural kind-heartedness. After some time, Sarah's 11th birthday is celebrated at Miss Minchin's with a lavish party attended by all her friends and classmates. Just as it ends, Miss Minchin learns of Captain Crew's unfortunate demise and had lost his entire fortune. A close friend from his schoolboy days had persuaded him to cash in his investments and deposit the proceeds to develop a network of diamond mines. The scheme fails, and the preteen Sarah is left a poor orphan with no other family and nowhere to go. Miss Minchin is left with a sizable unpaid bill for Sarah's school fees and luxuries, including her birthday party. Infuriated and pitiless, she takes away all of Sarah's possessions, except for some old clothes and her doll Emily. Miss Minchin makes Sarah live in a cold and poorly furnished attic and forces her to earn her keep by working as an errand girl. She forces Sarah to wear frocks much too short for her, with her thin legs peeking out of the skirts. For the next several years, Sarah is abused by Miss Minchin and the other servants, except for Becky. Miss Minchin's kind younger sister Amelia did not like the way that Sarah is treated, but doesn't have the courage to speak up about it until later. Sarah is starved, worked for long hours, sent out in all weathers, poorly dressed in outgrown and worn-out clothes, and deprived of warmth or a comfortable bed in the attic. But, despite of her hardships, Sarah is consoled by her friends and uses her imagination to cope, pretending she is a prisoner in the Bastille or a princess disguised as a servant. Sarah also continues to be kind to everyone, including those who find her annoying or mistreat her. One day, she finds a coin in the street and uses it to buy buns at a bakery. But despite being very hungry, She gives most of the buns away to a beggar girl dressed in rags who is hungrier than herself. The bakery shop owner sees this and wants to reward Sarah, but she has disappeared, so the shop owner instead gives the beggar girl bread and warm shelter for Sarah's sake. Meanwhile, Mr. Carrisford and his Indian assistant Ramdas have moved into the house next door to Miss Minchin's school. Carrisford had been Captain Crew's friend and partner in the diamond mines. After the diamond mines venture failed, both Crew and Carrisford became very ill, and Carrisford in his delirium abandoned his good childhood friend Crew, who died of his illness. As it turned out, the diamond mines did not fail, but instead were a great success, making Carrisford extremely rich. Although Carrisford survived, he suffers from several ailments and is guilt-ridden over abandoning his friend. He is determined to find Crew's young daughter and heiress, although he does not know where she is and thinks she is attending school in France as her late mother was a French woman. Ramdas befriends Sarah when his pet monkey escapes into Sarah's adjoining attic. After climbing over the roof to Sarah's room to get the monkey, Ramdas tells Carrisford about Sarah's poor living conditions. So, as a pleasant distraction, Carrisford and Ramdas buy warm blankets, comfortable furniture, food, and other gifts and secretly leave them in Sarah's room when she is asleep or out. Sarah's spirits and health improve due to the gifts she receives from her mysterious friend whose identity she doesn't know. Ramdas and Carrisford is also not aware that Sarah is Crew's lost daughter. When Carrisford anonymously sends Sarah a package of new, well-made, and expensive clothing in her proper size, Miss Minchin becomes quite alarmed, thinking Sarah might have a wealthy relative secretly looking out for her, and begins to treat Sarah better and allows her to attend classes rather than doing menial work. One night, the monkey again runs away to Sarah's room, and Sarah visits Carrisford's house next morning to return him. When Sarah casually mentions that she was born in India, Carrisford and his solicitor question her and discover that she is Captain Crew's daughter, for whom they have been searching for 2 years. Sarah also learns that Carrisford was her father's childhood friend and her own anonymous benefactor, and that the diamond mines have produced great riches, of which she will now own her late father's share. When Miss Minchin angrily appears to collect Sarah, she is informed that Sarah will be living with Carrisford from now on, and her entire fortune has been restored and increased tenfold. Upon finding this out, Miss Minchin unsuccessfully tries to persuade Sarah into returning to her school as a star pupil, and then threatens to keep her from ever seeing her school friends again. But Carrisford and his solicitor tells Miss Minchin that Sarah will see anyone she wishes to see, and that her friends' parents are not likely to refuse invitations from an heiress of a diamond mine. Miss Minchin goes home, where she is surprised when Amelia finally stands up to her. Amelia had a nervous breakdown afterwards, but she is on the road to gaining more respect. Sarah invites Becky to live with her and be her personal maid in much better living conditions than at Miss Minchin's. Carrisford becomes a friend and a father figure to Sarah and quickly regains his health. And that's The Little Princess in a nutshell. So if you're fond of watching drama series and anime, you may want to give this a try. There are a lot of versions that you may want to watch as well, like there's a 1917 version and a 1939 version with Shirley Temple as Sarah. Then, an American version came out in 1995, and on the same year, a Filipino version came out, Sarah ang Munting Prinsesa, with Sarah played by our very own Camille Prats and Angelica Panganiban as Becky. The film was mostly shot in Scotland, with other scenes in Baguio. Then a 1996 version came out, and a 1997 Russian version. That's it for today's video, and thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to help me create more videos like these for you.